Hello, everyone. This is Chris Anderson here, and I have my special guest.
Anna.
And today we're gonna be reviewing a survival horror game called Infliction, and later on at the end we'll be talking about a potential return of Silent Hills. Well, two games rumored coming out by Konami, or the one people are more excited about, that Hideo Kojima will be coming back to Silent Hills to finish it. But we'll get to that last. But first things first, let's talk about Infliction. Now, here's the problem with Infliction. It's a short game. And so much as talking about the story would require us to go into spoilers, because we can't properly critique the story without going to spoilers. So we'll save that for last. We'll save that after we talk about the gameplay.
Well, actually, it's the Infliction. What was it? The
Extended cut.
Yeah, the
Because Infliction came out, I believe, a year ago. No, 2 years ago, I think. And the extended cut came out recently onto the PS4, Xbox One, and I think Nintendo Switch, which is the version we're talking about.
Yes.
So, and also note, I'm not sure what all the changes were made in the extended cut. All I know is that there's New Game Plus, there's 4 bonus endings, and maybe a couple new memories, I think. I'm not entirely sure of the last one there, but I know those 2 things were added. I mean, we'll discuss about those later. So, let's just go ahead and talk about the gameplay. It's going to be kind of a little weird jumping out of order here, because we usually talk about the story first, then dive into gameplay. But since we can't talk about the story yet, let's go into the gameplay first.
Because it's spoiler. It's hard to talk about it without telling you the story.
So let me put it this way: do you guys like PT? That Silent Hills demo? Well, if you want more of that, there you go.
It's that one demo where you're like in an apartment
hallway
house thing.
Yeah, it just repeats itself over and over again.
Yeah, things will change when you go. The house will keep looping, but new stuff changes. That's what he's talking about.
Essentially, it's that, and also you get tormented by a woman in a white gown. So yeah, almost identical. And ever since PT came out, every horror game has been trying to emulate it because they made such a huge impact on everyone.
She reminds me of the Ring Girl, and she reminds me, the whole entire, that and what was it, The Grudge?
Yeah, Grudge.
Yeah, the whole entire long dark hair, white dress.
Yeah, that.
Disturbing sounding woman of some sort. It's
essentially, like I said, it's almost identical to PT. So if you like PT, there's a good chance you're going to like this game. But here's the problem. Well, okay, I won't get into the problems yet. Not yet. It's one of those games that's very much of that Outlast hide-and-seek gameplay where you have to find figure out the puzzles while trying not to get yourself mauled to death by the tormentor.
And also to collect your memories.
You collect your memories, yes.
Because for some reason your main character doesn't seem to remember the last 13 years.
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that later in spoilers. But yeah, so that's generally the entirety of the gameplay. You walk around this house, which immediately is creepy looking. It's creepy. It's very it feels like some people actually do live here. And
the atmosphere they got.
The atmosphere they got right. The sound design is mostly spot on, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. And here's one thing I do really like about the gameplay. Every time you examine an item, it's fully rendered. You can look at it, and even when you look at books, you can actually open them up and read the pages. Not all the pages, but a good chunk of it. And I do like this because it does give a great sense that people do live here. That gives you an idea what their personalities are like. Yeah. Like, say, the father, he's a huge horror buff. By all the horror DVDs you can find, so forth. And the daughter, who's also a horror buff. Well, she's into gothic things, like Tim Burton almost.
But yeah, the way that the game is told, to get the thing is that this thing doesn't have really much of cutscenes unless you count death scenes.
Yeah, that's about
it. But there is cutscenes, but God, I'm trying to think of how to talk about it without
going to spoilers.
Yeah, going into spoilers. Do you want to talk about its overall look, its presentation?
Its presentation's fine. It's fine. It's a low budget horror game, which for what it got for the Kickstarter, it managed to sum up. it looks fine. It's not hideous to look at. The game's not hideous.
No.
And like I said, there's the puzzle solving at times can be a bit fun. At least on the first mode of the game. Not so much New Game Plus, which we will get to later.
Yeah, that's a spoiler.
Yeah, a bit more in spoilers. But yeah, so here's some mechanics of the game. Besides walking around, collecting items and solving, puzzles, you have a camera that you take pictures of things that reveals hidden items or clues.
Fatal Frame
style. And you can use this camera to temporarily stun the ghost, the spirit. But the problem with that, the game doesn't tell you that until later on in the game, which would have been useful.
Oh yeah, when the game gives you hints on like, oh yeah, you could have done this in the previous missions. Oops, my bad. I told you after you beat it somehow.
Yeah, and it's like
wait, you told us a little late. We could have.
And also another one you can do is that you flicker on the lights in the house to get rid of her for a temporary amount of time, which is really hard to do when she has the speed that would make Sonic the Hedgehog blush.
You blink, she's there.
She blinks it there. Like, okay, I did try to do that camera thing multiple times, and I never got to work. I can see her; she's clearly visible there. I take a picture of her. Nothing happens. The moment the picture goes down, she just jumps right at me and kills me.
I found out a weird way to get her. I don't think it's intentional. When I saw her, I slammed the door, and my first impulse was to take a picture, and I managed to kill her on the other side of the door.
Yeah, so and say it's a nice little camera that a lot of other horror games do have, but what I hate is in the regular game mode, it's not really used often for puzzles. It's just there. It feels like they could have used it. The single developer, I believe this was made by one guy, really. But anyways, it wasn't really used that often. I wish he used it more so in the original game mode, because the New Game Plus is used a bit more. But in the first mode, it's not. It's kind of just there, maybe point you in the right direction here and there, but other than that,
catch ghost activities.
Honestly,
which you can easily miss
because
it will tell you, oh yeah, that's a thing after the fact.
Yeah, after the fact, and again, also not all the lights flicker on in the house, so it's really just a guessing game which one works and which one doesn't.
Oh, also too, if you leave the lights on when she comes close, the lights will burst.
Yeah, they will burst.
So you have to surprise her when she's somewhere within a certain facility of you, certain distance of you, and you can flicker on lights. She don't like lights.
She doesn't like lights.
So says the phone guy.
And here's the thing that really does bother me is the hiding mechanic. Because for some unknown reason, when your character hides underneath the table, you can't look around 360 style. You're stuck in one perspective. So you can't see the way she's coming from.
Yeah, and it makes you face towards the wall.
Yeah.
Or face towards away from where she would be entering the room.
And honestly, the hiding at times there's only one real good hiding spot, and that's about it. Okay, there's two, but honestly, the game isn't built well enough for that hiding mechanic. Honestly, I think I'd rather just take this game as simple as a walking simulator that has some jump scares here and there with a couple of puzzles here and there, not as is.
And a puzzle.
It's because honestly, this game feels very close to a walking simulator, is because there is no sprinting in this game. Yeah, you got that right. I'm sorry for the noise in the background. That is our cat playing with his toy. Yeah, there is no sprinting in this game. There is none. And for some cases, it does make sense because you are in a small house and if you were to run, you'd probably beat this game a lot quicker. But at the same time, it doesn't make sense because you are in peril. You want to run. There's no story reason why your character can't run.
No.
If they would say it comes to a story reason, both his legs are hugely injured or whatever, and he can't run, fine, sure, it's contrived, but
there's no reason.
There's no reason. It's just weird. It's
it reminds me yet again of Fatal Frame. For some reason, you're you would be sprinting if you saw this thing. For some reason, your person just walks.
Well, that's our normal walking. If you want to run, just hit square or something. You'll run. But
Oh, she'll do a light little jog.
she does a light little jog. Even giving the character like a light little jog would help.
Well, yeah, but I mean, yeah, this game doesn't even have the light jog.
No.
It's just the walk.
Yeah, it's just the walk. I mean, it's just like, come on now, really? So apparently this guy does not have any self-preservation at all. He's like, yeah, this seems fun. I'm just gonna go walk through my haunted hallways where this murderous ghost has torn out my heart, stomped my head, broke my neck, maybe chewed off his neck. It's like he doesn't like he really cares. Well, then again, I guess in the story context, that's spoilers, but anyways, for gameplay-wise, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, and I wish they at least add a light jog mechanic that was limited in some sort of way, maybe. Maybe he got out of
Or a little burst sprint, or like a dodge mechanic.
Something? Yeah, so, let's see here. What else is there? But there is something I do like about the gameplay, is that there is plenty of moments throughout it that horror buffs like me will get a good kick out, because there's plenty of references to other horror titles like The Ring, The Grudge, Evil Dead, and so forth. So if you're a huge horror buff like I am, you're going to get a good kick out of it. And if you're looking for is the gameplay is, well, actually, yeah, we were discussing the gameplay. Now, another major question is this game scary? Yes, kind of. Like, the scares can wear off thin. That's the problem. Since you will die a lot because you don't know what really to do or where to go.
Oh yeah, it doesn't tell you enough so you could understand the rules of, oh yeah, she spawns in like, what, 4 minutes? I had to look this up. The game didn't tell you.
But here's the thing, like, and this is a little annoying, is that, yeah, you can honestly, so you have two alternatives. Either A, slowly, crawl around, go to each hiding spot, take forever, or alternative B, walk around freely, let her kill you, then when you respawn, she won't spawn in until, like, maybe 4 to 5 minutes in. Give you plenty of time to figure out what to do, because it's not a very big place.
Yeah, and it also doesn't tell you, like, what did it say? Something about when you hear static, that means she was summoned in, which the game doesn't tell you this. Nope. I had to look this up. And the, what was it?
Glitchy camera effect?
Yeah, the glitchy camera effect. No, actually, when you hear your heartbeat means she's getting close, but when it's glitchy, it means she's basically like right next to you, or she will be right next to you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, the game doesn't tell you that, and it's like, what? So it's like when you hear these weird sounds and weird stuff, and oh yeah, the sounds. Oh, we can't tell if she's on the same floor as you or if she's below you.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's something that really grated me about another survival horror game called Remove the Tormented Fathers, where you couldn't exactly tell what floor they are. There's like this mansion's like 3 stories, and he could be on the top floor, you could be at the basement, but for some reason he still sounds like he's on the same floor as you. This game has the same problem. Is that you can't tell where she is at times. The sound is not very good. Like, if it could at least tell me what floor she's on, if I hear her above me, I was like, oh, okay, so she's above me, so I can, quickly explore this room real quick. Or in the basement, I hear her 2 floors up, okay, or she's a floor below me. There's nothing really indicating that here. It's just she's on the same floor as you.
Yeah, so you could be camping under the bed unnecessarily. And that was a problem that we kept running into, was what floor was she on? We could figure out from the static and all that she's, okay, around this general direction in the house, but what floor is she on? Like, if she's a floor below you, they should have it where you hear the sound, but it sounds more deeper or muffled or something, so that way it sounds a bit more at a distance. You could still make it out. But there's a difference between when it sounds super sharp and like she's on the floor with you type of sound. There needs to be a difference in depth when it comes to sound. They need to implement that in. And
yeah, they need to work on that. They can patch that in. They really could. But the game's been out for like 2 years now.
I mean, they could still add it in.
They can still add it in, but even so, then it shouldn't take them too long to add that in. Yeah, and also what's another thing that bums me out is that there's only really one enemy you face in this game. There is another one, a big fat creature, a big fat one, but he's only in one section of the game. You don't really encounter...
Whoa. Wait.
That's not spoilers. It's not.
Well, I can't.
We can't talk about what it represents or anything.
But I can't talk. Well.
We can talk about what's the gameplay about it when it comes there. So
well, the thing is that in the game, you were lucky when you played it because the other enemies are actually sprinkled throughout the game, but can be missed if you do not interact with certain things.
Even still, then.
Or pick the wrong choices to be killed by said individuals.
Even still, then, I feel like they could have been incorporated a bit better to make them more prominent.
The third creature?
Mm-hmm.
The one...
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. That one was supposed to be have a space of its own.
Mm-hmm.
Like the big guy.
Mm-hmm.
But the creator said that he felt that it felt forced. And he felt that because it felt forced, he was afraid it was going to take probably away from the game. So he just took it out. So he snuck the creature in different ways.
Yeah, even still then, I feel like he could have maybe incorporated it in a way where it can matter, give it a variety of creatures you can face off. Right now, as far as I'm aware, when I played the game, I only faced 2. The mother creature got really tedious real fast because she's the only one you really face. And the fat creature, you can easily just lock away behind a garage and never face it ever again. It's like, why even bother have this section if this is the only time we're going to encounter it?
Like I said, you made the right choices.
I guess I did, but even still then, I feel like, adding more encounters with these creatures could have really helped the gameplay and maybe even the story some more. Having, can't talk about that yet because that's spoilers.
Yeah, there's things we want to say.
So, yeah, but... So, okay, let's actually talk about the New Game Plus. That's not spoilers, actually. That is not. So that's not spoilers. So here's the thing. There's a game the trailer prompted about the extended cut. New Game Plus changes some things in the gameplay to make it more interesting and harder.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe now some puzzles will be different. The ghost, the lady that will spawn in more frequently. She moves a bit faster.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, if you want more of a challenge, go for it. Definitely. Me, however, I was just kind of just burnt out by the end of the game because the gameplay, I would say, while it could be serviceable, to me it's weak. It is weak. It needs more to work with.
And also, too, the fact that the woman herself will bug at times. Where she will literally... She will babysit you. Or babysit your goal.
Yeah.
Until you let her kill you. And she will do this on and off if you take
that was really annoying. Also...
Oh, my God.
And so, New Game Plus, they mix up the puzzles, which, honestly, I could appreciate.
And they added a little bit more.
But here's things that do bother me. First, I hate when horror games do this. I hate when any game does this. It's where, okay, let's say you're playing a game. Let's play a game. You're playing a game, and the majority of the doors are locked. So you go to this one other random room, and you interact with this random object. You go to this room before, and you decide to interact with this object. And a cutscene happens. Okay, cutscene's over. You leave that bedroom. Okay, what happens now? You didn't get any items, you didn't get a key or anything. Nope, just all the doors now are just magically unlocked.
Scripted parts.
Scripted parts unlock more doors, which I hate, because your first instinct's like, okay, that cutscene ended, so I guess I'll go see the doors unlocked now. No, your first instinct's like, okay, so maybe the person's left something behind, maybe...
Yeah, I gotta get a key.
Yeah, get a key.
Or something.
No, this game does that. It does that at the beginning of New Game Plus, where the garage is now locked. So my first instinct was like, okay, I gotta find the key now. We look around. After a while, being killed by her many times, I kind of just gave up. You play the game. You figure out.
I solved it, yeah.
You solved it. Turns out, here's what you have to do. You have to go to the bathroom, close the door, and it rips...
No, it closes behind you.
It closes behind you, and it rips a scene straight out of PT. Where, the door closes, the mirror gets all funky, and she tries to open the door. It's like...
Also, something's written on the mirror, and
it's
then
called
hit from the...
Yeah, tell.
Yeah, hit from the other side.
Hit from the other side, and it's like... And then now the garage door's open.
No, the thing is that I was that the one where I had to Oh, yeah. And then there's another part where I had to go to that bathroom again and had to interact with the mirror, and we never would have guessed that.
No, I just guessed it's probably just most like the bathroom mirror because that one mirror's gone. Now, I hate that because it's not organic. It reminds me too much of Clock Tower 2, which is a game I absolutely despise. I could go on hours of rant about how god-awful that game is. It has no right to exist. It adds nothing to the original Clock Tower games. It's garbage. Don't play it. Don't look it up. Don't give it acknowledgement. Fuck that game. Well, anyways, back to Infliction. So, yeah, it reminded me of that, and I hate when games do that because it's not organic in any way. At least they give you a key. Fine, whatever. That's what most cutscenes even do anyways when these events happen. But, yeah, so you go do that. And then, at a certain point, admittedly, it's interesting how they change some things. You know, some of the puzzles are different. You know, you learn some new different events. You get maybe a couple new lines, which we can't go into yet because that's spoilers. And then we get one point that we're just like, well, crap, what do we do now?
And the part that we're talking about is there's going to be a part where
I was going to say it's the police station.
Yeah,
I'm going to say what happens in the police station, but there's a part in the police station where in the first playing through the game, you should find a key card and you unlock the door and then you get the number. No, you simply just unlock the doors. They changed it to now where you have to find the number combination to unlock the door.
Yes.
But the problem with that, there is no hint. There's nothing that's shiny that tells you that, hey, interact with this to progress.
We took pictures of everything. We looked at every note. We examined everything. We turned letters to numbers. We looked at that little scribble of a paper that has, like, numbers on it. Yeah.
But nothing happened. We tried all of it. We tried mixing it up.
We tried the years that were shown on the police pictures, on papers, on, like, anything that had a number, we were punching the numbers in, we cannot find the answer anywhere, and we took pictures everywhere, and there's zero clues to what 4-digit numbers do you need.
Yeah,
there's zero.
And so now we're just stuck there, and it's kind of a shame because I did want to see what the rest of New Game Plus has to offer.
And we tried seeing look up to see if there was any walkthrough. There's no walkthrough.
There's no walkthrough because Infliction Extended Cut is a niche game. It doesn't have a big audience. And if people who are also stuck, let's say everyone's stuck on this part, then there's going to never be a complete walkthrough of it.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Is like it was interesting to see the new stuff and what was added, but we could not finish the game because it just would not tell us what it wanted.
We beat the game the first round.
Yes, but
New Game Plus is when we can't. We don't know what's going on.
Well, to get New Game Plus, you have to beat.
You have to beat
it once.
You beat it once, but after that, we get to that certain point. We don't know what to do. We've tried literally almost everything. We changed letters to numbers. We looked at the freaking flyers, the years,
the dates that were all mentioned.
Dates that were mentioned, numbers that were spread around spreadsheets. We tried
clocks, numbers,
clocks. We literally tried everything we could think of.
Took pictures of everything.
Nothing. And I was just like, okay, it's fine to have a puzzle, and it's fine to have that puzzle be vague, but you always gotta at least leave a clue to work off of.
Yeah, there's zero clues.
Even the games that have the most toughest puzzles, like, say, Silent Hill, the earlier Resident Evil games, Portal 2, and Amnesia Dark Descent, at least they give you something to work off of, at least a nugget. Something like, okay, then once you get the nugget, you can figure out from there. Here, it doesn't do that. It's just like, figure it out. It's like, okay.
Figure what out?
Yeah, but what do I figure out? Like, okay.
You can't interact with too many things. You could zoom into only a certain point, and when you zoom in too close, it gets too blurry, which does not help.
No, so we're looking at this paper that has like all these scribbles of numbers that we believe we put in correctly, but there seems to be something on the left-hand side that seems to be like this weird decoding thing we have to figure out, but the problem is, it's almost unreal. It doesn't help that the handwriting's almost scratchy looking.
And blurry.
So solving this puzzle is almost next to impossible. It's probably not impossible, but there probably is something we're missing. But since it's so difficult to find or just not implemented well enough, that we can't do it.
So yes, basically what we're saying is sadly we cannot tell you fully on the whole game on New Game Plus. We could only tell you as far as we were able to.
Yeah, so that is the gameplay. It's not much. It is very simplistic. And if all you want is a gameplay that's very similar to PT and can generally make the same feeling as that, and you want some light puzzle solving with some couple scares here and there, then yeah, I could recommend the gameplay from that aspect. But to me, the gameplay was the weakest part of it. Was the weak part of this game. It just doesn't seem like it can fully develop its ideas. Even the ideas it had, it introduced way too late.
Yeah.
It doesn't function properly, and the hiding mechanic needs some work.
Oh.
The AI needs some work.
Also, too, now that I think about it, one of the things that they should work on, too, is that there were times where you were in the hallway and you opened up a door to your right, and she was, like, on the other side in the room, at a good distance, too, and you took a picture of her, and she reacted to it, but it didn't kill her. It just made her mad and zoom up into your face, and the game tells you, catch the enemy off guard. Well, her back was turned, so she should have died by the rules, but she didn't.
Oh, here's the thing.
And
okay,
that happened a couple of times.
Let's say, okay, that's reminded me of something. Let's say you do get a picture of her in the regular game. Yeah, she disappears for a bit. She can.
Yeah.
But New Game Plus, taking a picture of her is absolutely pointless. She comes back immediately.
Let's talk about that more in the spoiler.
Actually, no, that's not a spoiler because that's actually what happened.
No, but I'm saying I want to talk more into depth about certain things that deals with that as well.
So yeah, let you know if you're curious about checking out New Game Plus, don't bother taking her picture because she'll come right back, and also taking pictures of her will temporarily disable your camera, disable it.
Yeah, if it actually hits her.
So don't bother flicking the lights either because again she'll come right back in New Game Plus.
New Game Plus, yeah, it went from her summoning every 4 minutes to 2 minutes.
But
and when you take her out, she will remember where she died, and she will come hunting for you so fast. It's like, oh my god, what's the point?
Okay, so yeah, so that's like I said, the weakest part of the game is the gameplay. It needs more work, but if there's anything I have
little tweaking here.
But if there is anything I have to say positive, then one of the stronger points is the story, which we will get to now. So, spoilers, 3, 2, 1. So, the story I'm going to say right now is nothing new. You've seen this story probably 1,000 times, probably even done better in other mediums like movies, video games, books, animes, whatever. But what I did like about the story is that it was mostly visually told.
Yes.
You can go through the house. Also, you can remove all dialogue from the game and just look at the atmosphere, the enemies, and get the story still.
The paintings, the furniture changing throughout the years, like the whole house tells you a story.
Yeah, this house, and that's honestly that's what I like about video games is that you can tell a story through the visuals, and this game does incorporate that well for the most part. It did remind me a bit of Silent Hill 2. Where, the story could be mostly just told through visuals alone. You can remove the dialogue, still get what's going on, because the visuals tell the story.
Yeah, and the memories can fill in the blanks.
And fill in the blanks.
More in depth.
So this game is very much about domestic abuse. Which, also, I found myself to be a spoiler because, they guarantees you what tells you what happened. Happy family goes to crap because some tragedy happened. The father gets mad, starts abusing the mother. The mother eventually commits suicide to go crazy.
She doesn't commit suicide.
She doesn't commit suicide, but you get the idea. That's how the story goes.
Basically what it is that from what we found out from the memories and all that, it seems that these two characters are high school sweethearts. I believe they're both 18 when they have little Maggie.
Yep.
You can find this out in the memories of how old the mom and dad are, and they're
okay.
the same
Before
age.
we go deeper much into it, let's start with the beginning of the game. So, beginning of the game, your character's driving home.
I guess.
Yes, we will get to that in a moment. So your character's driving home, and your wife calls you like, "Hey, I forgot my tickets at the house. Please go get them so I can get on the airplane, whatever.
Yeah, because the code is not taking my code for some reason. Could you please go in and get the tickets for me?
Yeah, so you go in. Everything seems normal, fine. No.
Not really. 100 messages?
100 messages? Like, okay,
That was a red
there's
flag
people out there who
immediately.
could have, tons of messages they didn't get deleted. But anyways, but in the context of the story, it makes a lot more sense. So, anyways, we'll get to that. So he goes to the house. You eventually do find the tickets. Before you find the tickets, you can find some memories that give you a good general idea what the family's like. Mm-hmm. But the moment you pick up the ticket, then that's when everything starts to go to hell. Quite literally, because the door closes. You watch a video.
Yeah, your computer comes on.
Your computer comes on. You watch a video of your wife getting stabbed by someone, and then it shows to be this character wearing a mask with a cross, and the Jesus Christ upside down.
Yeah, but he's not blinking, and he's making a weird sound.
So here's a little mini twist that happens: is that when your character, the moment that happens, the house starts to go to hell itself, starts to age rapidly. There's blood
because of the wife.
Yeah, because of the wife. So there's blood.
So
your character, of course, freaks out and has the most logical thing in every horror character, is that he gets out of there immediately.
Yeah.
He bolts for the door, he bolts for his car, gets out, starts driving, he sees his ghost wife chasing him.
And
then
that's a trip.
Yeah, that's a trip. And then when he's driving, he looks down to the passenger seat and sees that same mask and knife there, and he looks at his hands all bloodied up.
And he looks like, if you look at the body language, he looks at his hands like, WTF? What in the... And then he hits a tree.
And it's a tree, and actually...
I guessed it!
Yeah, you guessed it right. Well, here's the thing. She guessed it at the beginning. The car crash that you see at the beginning was your character.
Yeah, I called it from the beginning when we originally was doing a first encounter. And we didn't end up uploading it because not too much was
yeah, it was
done.
really just me just looking around, just poking at stuff.
Yeah, but in that video, I did guess, like, when you come down the street and the radio comes on and the wife tells you, get her a ticket. When I saw the car that hit up the tree and the police car was there, the first thing that I was saying was like, well, what popped into my mind was, oh my God, is that your character? Or is that your wife? Like, I know I did say something, but I know when I saw that was like the thing that hit my mind was like, because it looked like the same car. And when it ended with that, I was like, holy, I was correct.
And so from there, your character wakes up back in the house in the same manner style of PT, so keeping it true to the spirit of PT here.
From the
floor, guys. Like, the animation's almost exactly the same. Exactly. So, yeah, so from there, you're kind of just stuck in this house, repeating the same thing over and over again. And the story itself is actually very PT-esque. Because when you play this PT, there is a bit of a story going on. By the sounds of it, you are playing a father. And when you go progress through, you learn more that turns out there's this wife and this family was murdered by these fathers. That the wife was pregnant and she was shot. A little girl was hiding in the closet, but the father convinced her it was all just a game so he could trick her.
What?
This is PT, Silent Hills.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I got confused. That's not what's in...
That's not in the game, but it's very similar to it. It's very similar.
You got to announce what you're describing.
I thought I was. I thought I did was describe. My bad. But anyways, that was PT, but the father, the family getting murdered and the daughter getting shot. So that's in PT, and it's also implied in the PT game that the fathers are being possessed by something because they're chanting some strange code. And here, it's very much that in the same vein, where the father does go insane to some extent, gets possessed to a certain extent. We're not entirely sure about that. The mother does get murdered, but the daughter doesn't die. She runs away.
But the baby ends up dying.
The baby does die.
6 months.
6 months. 6 months baby
Michael.
does. So here's the story what happened. These two sweethearts had 2 kids. Their 6-year-old daughter, what was her name? The daughter
Maggie.
Name? I thought Maggie was the... No, Michael was the one. Michael was the one that died. Okay, so... first
it was Maggie, and then when Maggie was 6.
They had another kid named...
Which was Michael, and he died at 6 months.
Because it's believed that the baby carriage, I think, collapsed and it killed the baby.
What happened was that it collapsed and the baby hit its head, I guess, on the door, and it had internal bleeding because when it collapsed, when you see it in game, you're gonna see a little blood stain on the bed. But if you go up to the attic, underneath the wired bed, there's a baby blanket covered in blood.
Yeah, covered in blood. So the story is that the father came home after taking his daughter Maggie to the store or getting ice cream, whatever, and he comes back home to find his wife holding his dead son in her arms.
Yeah, she was taking a nap. She was having some type of depression. And she heard a crash.
So she's taken to the police station for questioning. And so they rule it off as an accident, as a failure of the baby crib. But the father, however, blames her for what happened. Blames her. And because of that, he falls to be a drunk and very much an abuser.
Well as, like, kind of occult-ish.
Occultist. Because, as it turns out later on in the story, you find out that they conceived this child in a cabin in the woods that turns out that may have been haunted by occultists who were doing satanic rituals there.
Yeah, there's even a cross outside front of the place, which I think is from neighboring areas saying...
And so, the game does imply... It does imply, or purely speculation from us, that in fact that the demon that was there haunting the place came back with them to their place
and killed the son.
Because at one point you do see a demon knocking his head on the door again, and it also has Saul once again implying that there could have been demonic forces behind the baby's death.
Yeah, which...
And it's also further implied, again, this is purely implying in speculation from our side, that the father was either possessed by the demon or greatly influenced by it.
The reason why we came to that conclusion, which we need to talk more about the so-called character you're playing as.
Which we will actually get to, but I want to talk about the mother first, because she's actually the better part. There's two great things I like just about the story. First, that is visually told. That's mostly visually told. You can take the entire story by just playing the game.
Yeah.
Second thing I like is the mother's descent into madness and becoming hollow and grim at the end.
Oh, the voice acting for her is outstanding.
It's very well done. Her voice acting does lend itself very well.
Yeah.
And seeing her descent into madness and just falling apart at the end is a bit heart-touching. It's like, oh,
yeah,
that's...
She hung in there way too long waiting for her true love to come back and whatever this drunk monster she's looking at and living with. Like, she said that she'll be there for when he returns in the end. And she is. She is.
Kind of. Yeah, so, of course, she dies in rage. And that's what leaves that house now haunted. And
I think it was already haunted even before she died.
Well, now that's why your character's entrapped in a limbo of her rage.
Yeah.
And your whole goal is to now appease her. But
not appease her, because, like, the story,
exorcist her.
The story starts like if you were coming home from a night shift and you're doing a favor for your wife, but at the same time you're seeing, like, that's what you're seeing, but what's actually going on in the background is the demon taking over your body, and that's why it was holding a camera showing the other side what was actually happening. So when your body actually really died, when you passed by the tree and the police car, you woke. The true husband that she's been waiting for the whole entire time is driving home finally. Yeah. That's what the opening gives me. It
can be interpreted as. That can be. We both could be very much wrong about that.
But that's what it seems, is that
that's what it seems.
He's doing a favor, but what's really going on is that when he got the ticket, he was actually stabbing her, and he didn't see that because he wasn't in control of his body at the time. Until his body was killed, then his spirit was, I guess, freed from the control of the demon. But because he allowed himself to be corrupted and did not wake up sooner, this is like his permanent hell.
Essentially,
That's
yeah.
like what it boils down to and what it seems like.
And so, yeah, but here's the thing, my problem. Okay, so the wife's story, her descent to madness, is heart touching. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
The daughter, you don't learn too much that she ran away, which is understandable. She ran away.
Yeah.
Which, fine. And seeing this, again, the wife hold on for so long,
And the wife being haunted by baby cries, hearing
she's going, like I said, going insane, and that she had to take so much medication that she was
numb herself.
Yeah, and again, from visually and her story are both pretty good.
Yeah.
But there is one major drawback. The father, you never get a grasp of his personality.
Yeah, there's zero input from the guy, and this is why it becomes down to speculation. It feels like why does a character not know these 13 years? Why does Limbo literally have to re-show you over and over, certain aspects that you should know, because the interpretation it's giving is that you weren't in control that whole time. So basically, he gave himself up, unknowingly or knowingly, to try and resurrect his baby.
And this was actually added to the whole speculation that's like, oh, your memories that you're actually getting is not from you, but from your wife.
Yeah.
And that's why that's why your character can't recall any things, because he wasn't really there.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. Since we don't know what he was like before the so-called possession or influence, it's hard to grasp, like, okay, what actions was his and what actions wasn't his.
And also,
some simple dialogues of him saying, I don't remember this, I'm sorry, or something.
Oh, please forgive me. It
something
wasn't
to give her a greater imply
something
that he was not truly in control of himself, that something did take control of him and force him to abuse his wife and do demonic rituals.
Yeah.
That would actually add more tragedy to the story and to the character. But here, as the game goes on, you can grow to despise the character, which you did.
Yeah, the character in the end that you're controlling, you end up finding out by not only playing the main game, but if you treasure hunt, basically go for all of the memories and stuff like that. It tells you more behind the scenes on how he got drunk and very abusive, how his wife lost their second son and everything just went straight to hell, how she wanted support and love from him and he just gave himself up. And this is another thing that I think that he was even corrupted before the baby died. Because remember when you read her stuff at the cabin, mm-hmm. when she makes comments like she will never come back here ever.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you go and you find one of the memories, it mentions that she went a second time hoping to rekindle that flame to start over again. And when they arrived, he was acting insane and like. What was it? When the baby died, he went to the cabin and he just spent time down there.
Yeah, in the basement, looking through all the cultist stuff, looking for a book.
Yeah.
Essentially the Necronomicon, which is the Book of the Dead, Satan's book, whatever. And so, yeah, it's implied that he's been influenced since ever he went back there, or even before then.
Yes, and since what do you say? The
conceiving of a child. That he was influenced back then. But I mean, still then, that's only our speculation. Nothing's grounded.
Also, too, the fact that in the police station, there is an audio thing that you can easily miss, where a neighbor mentions that he sees your character butt naked in their yard, muttering something in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and again, that's implying that maybe he was...
That isn't even human.
Yeah, and again, implying that he was possibly possessed, but again, that's only...
I'm curious what he's possessed, which one specifically, but...
So you go through the game, you encounter 3 other enemy types. A big giant fat creature, which is symbolic of his gluttony and...
Yeah, him drinking and beating her in a drunken...
And there's another demon
and he has what is it, a hatchet?
I think. There's another demon that was banging on the baby's door that has 2 heads, split heads, so again,
It was stitched up too, or
stitched up.
stapled.
Yeah, stapled together. So that's symbolism of his split personality. And then the final one, which you don't see until the end of the game, actually.
Yeah, near the end and at the end.
Yeah, near the end.
Because there are shadows hinting him.
And it's like this creature with like this little spike cage on his head, a giant meat cleaver, and a baby on its hand.
No, it's not a meat cleaver. It's a hammer.
Hammer, whatever it is. I can't remember.
And he has like nails hammered into his chest, and he's like the umbilical cord of the baby is attached to the back of his head.
And again, that's also symbolic that he couldn't let go.
He couldn't let go. And see, these are the three creatures we're given, and I'm wondering which one specifically. Like, I'm leaning towards maybe he was mainly the drunk, but I'm wondering if the caged creature that has the umbilical cord attached to the baby is that the well. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm just speculating and just guessing that could the baby possibly have been a vessel, or could have been a vessel for the demon thing that wanted to escape from the cabin? Because throughout the game, there's a thing, I forgot where, one of the memories or something mentions that that there was something kept there and it wanted out, and it found its way out through you, literally. And so when I see the baby attached to the brain of the guy, my brain's wondering, is this the thing that possessed the guy to give him the attachment to the baby? Or is this a representation of the thing that was going to be the baby?
No, I think it was just an overall symbolic creature design of what the character's going through, that he couldn't let go and he became wrath. And that's how I interpret it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I try to interpret it in multiple different ways because there's no clear-cut, definitive
answer.
This is, so it's kind of left up for speculation, guessing.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if it means, like Christian said, and like we were thinking at first, that it's him constantly having the baby on his mind, that's why he's locked in a cage constantly, he's not in control, which has the fat gluttony thing come out and just hack at the wife, basically. And then all during the while, he's a split personality between the two,
I guess. But yeah,
but then it's like the real you before you got drunk. Also, too, there's a question I have. In the story, you eventually have the ability to set your wife free, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Stop her from being this thing of wrath and hate. She disappears saying something, and I'm not 100% sure what she says, but it sounded almost something like, now that the fact that you're sober, you should suffer even more.
Sober.
Sober?
Yeah, you actually need to say silver, I believe.
Sorry, sober, and you should be punished even more. And I'm like, did I hear that right? Or like, anytime I like, it's hard to hear what she says at that point because there's like a what is it, like a flash sound effect or something, like
audio.
There's an audio something where it kind of makes it hard to understand what she says, or she says it so low as she's like going off into the distance.
Yeah,
and it's like, dang nabbit, she said something.
But honestly, to me, it doesn't matter at this rate because I don't care.
Well, it has me wonder if she forgives you or not, and that's another fact.
See, Dove, here's the thing. Here's what I'm going at. The reason why I don't care at the end is because I don't feel anything for the father.
That's the problem.
And that's the thing that's really holding back the story. What could really could have been a great story.
Yeah.
But the story, again, it feels like you've seen the story before, many times before. Yeah. The only thing that holds it up is that it can be visually told, and the mother's descent into madness was interesting to go through.
Yeah.
But what holds it back is that you don't feel anything for the father. Are you like, why the guy is clearly an asshole. 13 years abusing his wife. And it's only implied.
And he gave himself up to demons.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's only implied that he was possessed or influenced. It's only implied. It's not confirmed. If they at least gave some humanity to the father, that we could latch on and see this through instead of just leaving him there to suffer and let his wife kill him over and over again. Mm-hmm. That would give me more incentive to play the game.
Yeah.
But since I don't...
We're not getting the father's side at all.
We're not getting the father's side at all. And that's what's severely lacking. If they gave the father's side, it would have been a much better story.
Yeah,
as it stands right now...
It feels undone.
It doesn't feel...
It feels like a half a game.
It feels like a half-finished story there. Like, there's one part that's missing the other half of the story. So, the story itself is above average. Like, I can see people getting into this.
Well, also too, I wanted to say real quick. Also, too, the memories also mention and does reveal that she has tried getting help not only for herself but for her husband throughout the years, and he made it worse. Yeah. She didn't sit around and take it. She actually tried getting some help here and there, and it just was worse. Yeah,
it got worse. So, yeah, there's that. Again, like I said, the mother's descent and her side of the story is interesting. It's just sad we don't get to see the father's side. It's very one-sided. This is a story about domestic abuse. And while, yes, I applaud the game for tackling a sensitive subject, but then again, mini games and other mediums have tackled the subject before and done it way better.
Well, to me, this game, because I grew up with that type of environment, that watching this game and seeing what was going on and how it was executed and how it was presented, like, I was really invested because that was my reality in Once Upon a Time.
And not everyone has that reality set. Well, okay, good. It's good that everyone has good. I was about to say sad. No, that's not correct. I mean, good. I'm glad that most people don't have that reality. For you, yes, it's easier for you to get into because you had that same environment. But for most people like me, on the other hand, I need both sides of the story here. I need the father side. Why? Yes, I can understand that he blames the mother.
But we should see why.
Yeah, we should see why more. Because yes, he blames her that the child died.
But why?
I get that. I do. Because he absolutely probably loved his son. He wanted to have a son of his own, and the son died because something happened, and he blames her for it. Because she was there, she wasn't monitoring the baby, so
she was napping.
She was napping, yes, but again, she could be lying. For him, on his side of the story, she could be lying. For him, maybe she's lying.
I don't know. See, that's the thing, is like, they don't give us his side. He doesn't make any comments.
Yeah, and again, there's little comments. Some humanity would have given this story much greater strength.
Give us his side.
But it doesn't, so that's why I'm wrapping up the story as it's above average. It's decent, it's fine. It's just a shame that it couldn't live up to its full potential of what it could have been. So, okay, so let's wrap things up now. All right, with this game. Infliction. Gameplay needs work. I find the gameplay to be the weakest part. It needs at least some sort of running mechanic. It needs to work on the hiding. The camera needs to work better. The AI needs better.
We need hints.
We need hints. Better hints. Well, when it comes to New Game Plus, there needs to be hints. Better hints.
Hints, period, and better hints.
Better hints. The environment's fine. It works. I do wish the game had more of an originality, because so far all it is just PT.
PT and grunge.
Grunge, yes, and also the wife's design. Her white gown and bloody face is completely uninspired.
Her painting, the last painting that she was doing before she was murdered, if they had her look something like that, like a splash of paint and stuff to look like her actual painting come to life, she would have a more interesting look. She would stick more out instead of looking like a grunge or a ring girl.
Yeah.
Get some color more than white.
Yeah.
She's a painter. She's an artist, for God's sakes. She should have some color.
Yeah, that's what they should have done, but they didn't for some odd reason. So anyway, have
her art.
Yeah,
have her become part of the God.
Yeah, that would work much better. But we don't get that. So so the gameplay wise, it's serviceable. For me, it needs more work. It needs more. And also, like I was saying, the game doesn't have much of originality. You've seen this before millions of times, probably even done better. The story itself is not that original. Like I said, same as the gameplay. You've seen it done better. But what's offered here, I do like the fact that it can be visually told. The mother's descent into madness and her demise was interesting and a little heart-wrenching. But we needed the father's side of the story.
Yeah, to understand, what are we controlling? Are we controlling a cold-hearted asshole? Are we controlling the man that she was waiting there her whole entire life until he came back, and he finally did after he died and killed her? Or
yeah.
the creature killed her?
So my rating of this game is a short game. It's not very long. Matter of fact, the game is, let's see, first playthroughs could take you about maybe 3 to 4 hours. But if you know what you're doing or you don't screw around much often, even on your first playthrough, if you don't screw around often, you can beat this game within an hour or two, give or take.
Yeah, and New Game Plus, I mean, we could talk a little bit more about it. Like, certain things will be in different places.
Yeah, we already did talk about
a puzzle. There would be new puzzles,
yeah, no,
like a puzzle or something.
Yeah, we already talked about this. We won't go too back into it. New Game Plus could have added more replay value to the game. But sadly,
could have added way more to the camera too.
Yeah, way more to the camera. But sadly, we get to that police station,
and we don't know what to do.
You're gonna get stuck. If you can figure it out, please let us know. That'd be great because I do want to see the rest of New Game Plus. It does add replay value, but as it stands right now, the puzzle is just too vague, or there's no hints at all.
There's no vagueness because there's no hint. There's zero. It's just like, here's a space. This time you're not getting a card. You gotta punch numbers. Good luck.
Yeah, so...
What?
There are some things that are nice. I do like the fact that in this extended cut, there's 4 bonus endings. Which are all... Homage. Yeah, paying homage to horror titles like The Ring, Evil Dead, Hellraiser, and there's one more missing. Evil Dead, Hellraiser, Ring.
Okay, yeah, one was She Crawled Out of the TV. The other one...
Chainsaw.
Yeah, the fat guy with the chainsaw. The...
Ring, Hellraiser, the puzzle piece.
Yeah, the one with the cube.
And there's one more, I can't do the top of my head. It's another horror, another major...
Was it the one with the bed? The Ring.
No,
Grunge, wasn't it?
Yeah, was it the Grunge?
Yeah, because she crawled up the wall, or...
Yes, it was in fact the Grunge. So the last one's the Grunge, which are fun to watch. So that's nice that they added 4 bonus endings.
Yeah, that'll remind us.
And I did like the art gallery that you can go to after you beat the game, so you can view all the wife's artwork.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to admit, some of those paintings, I recognize some of them that she did not create, like the little umbrella one with the Cthulhu tentacles coming out. I know that for a fact. Because when you go online and look it up, you will see that all over Google Images. Now, okay, I can't 100% prove that the creator himself, because this game did come out 2 years ago, and I don't know when that art piece was released. But I'm mad because I did see some other words with it that were attached to something else, something about an audiobook or whatever. So not all of them, but he probably purchased the license to use it for his game or whatever. So, but anyway, some of the I guess in the law of them are original artworks, which is pretty
interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's a bonus.
That's a bonus.
That they added, where it's like a museum dedicated to your character's dead wife. And when you go throughout it, it'll actually have little, like, comment background things about paintings and how they feel about her as an artist, or what was going through her mind probably at this time, or the fact that she didn't signaturize certain paintings, but they knew it was hers. And, like... And then there's also little hidden, like, messages or weird messages on walls. Even more stuff to try and discover.
Yeah, so I thought that was a nice little bonus. So there is some replay value to the game, but not a whole lot, honestly. So my rating for the game is like a 6 out of 10. Like, it could have been 7. It was close, but like I said, it needs to follow the story. The gameplay needs some tweaking. And plus, it needed a bit more originality. I do like the fact that a horror buff technique can get a good kick out of it from all the references, but references can't sell a game. So I'm going to give it a 6. I give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I think that's a deserving number.
So 6 out of 10 for you as well?
Yeah, because I'm torn between 6 and 7, but the fact that we don't have the husband side, by the time you're done playing the game, you're going to hate your character.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to leave you with questions of why did it take 13 years? Did you really, like in the beginning, did you really have to die with the police car for you to finally come home? Like, when did your guy needs to make comments. Like, when you go back through time, we need to know, like, I remember this, but then after that, I don't remember nothing. Or something of the sort to give us an idea, like, yeah, so he wasn't in control, like, he was already going out of control, or the house was already haunted by this time, or, you know, certain things need to be a little bit clarified, which could be if they gave the father some dialogue, little thoughts here and there, some comments, like when he sends his wife spirit free, like, does he ask her forgiveness? Does he say he's sorry? Something?
Yeah. So,
you know,
okay.
And
yes.
I feel like because we don't know what we're controlling. We don't know if he's evil. We don't know if he's possessed.
Alright, I'm not trying to be rude, but
yeah.
we are hitting St. Beats again.
Yeah, that's just the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem, yeah. So,
and that's holding it back.
That is holding it back. So,
and the bugs, the fact that
the bugs too
she
need some
glitches in babysits areas.
Yeah, so anyways, yeah, that's our thoughts on the game. 6 out of 10, it's $20 on Steam, and I think like maybe $20 on the PlayStation Store, which I guess is an okay price point. But again, I play games that cost less, and I got more value out of them. Like say Undertale, for example, that's like $8. That game's amazing. Those are the other games you can buy for less price and get more. Hell, go buy the original Silent Hill games. Which actually is a good segue into the next section we're going to talk about now. There's rumors, keep in mind, these are purely speculation and rumors that are floating around. Plenty of YouTubers are talking about it, forums are talking about it. That there's two major rumors. The first rumor is that not much people are really not very happy about, but there's still a chance that that Silent Hill, that Konami is planning to do a little soft reboot of Silent Hill, and coming with that soft reboot is like kind of like a side game to it that's going to be a similar style of the Telltale games. And the second rumor is that Hideo Kojima will be returning to Silent Hills with the original lead monster designer of the original Silent Hill titles.
That'd be nice, but remind you, this is rumors. It's not verified.
No, it's not.
But everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, but it is verified that Hideo Kojima is working with the monster designer of the original Silent Hill games.
Yeah.
So that's confirmed, but they don't know. But they're so far only teasing what project. So let's start with Konami first. Let's start with Konami. First of all, let me just say how much of a fuck up they are nowadays. Because seriously, what they did to Hideo Kojima, they gutted the ending of Metal Gear Solid 5. They banned him from not getting his award that he rightfully deserved. They treat him like crap. They tossed him out. They tossed their golden
goose.
Yeah, out like scraps off their plate.
Like, you don't shoot the golden goose.
After that, they made Metal Gear Survive, a generic zombie survival game that has the Metal Gear paint all over, but somehow they made a good-looking engine look like crap, and a completely overall terrible game. Was filled with stupid microtransactions. You have to pay for a save slot, $5 for one save slot.
I ain't playing that.
Yeah, no, the game sold poorly, and Konami refused to tell the investors how poorly it sold. So yeah, that tells you there. People fucking hated that. They fucking hated the game the moment the trailer came out. Interdimensional travel? What? I know the Metal Gear Solid franchise had some jump in the shark moments, like people who can summon fire and clones, and because the major jump shark is like a cyborg ninja thing that could break dance with robots tied around its legs and swing a giant sword like at the speed of light. But other than that, come on, interdimensional travel, that's way too much.
I don't know.
Yeah, anyways, and then after that, they completely butchered, what was it, Contra, which Contra was originally a 2D fast-paced shoot-'em-up, where you go from point A to point B, but it was very hard. One hit, you're dead, essentially. Mm-hmm. Very hard game. People love it, though, because, they love torturing themselves, apparently.
Yeah.
Gamers, apparently, what makes up the majority of masochists is gamers. Masochists is people, I believe, who love receiving pain. Who love receiving pain, I believe.
I think it's the conquering thy pain.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I know the Dark Souls fans love pain. They absolutely love it.
I think they love kicking butt.
Well, anyways,
after the
they recently came out with Contra Rogue Core, which completely abandons what the original Contra games are. It had a completely stupid story, and the graphics were terrible, and it was like a twin-stick shooter that wasn't really fast-paced, and you had to stop and reload your gun. What in the world? Let me put this in perspective. The Doom games, what makes them so great fast-paced is that you don't have to stop and reload your gun. Because you just stop and reload your gun, that kills the pacing of the game.
Is that the one where you use the chainsaw to get ammo back?
Yeah, essentially, yes.
Oh my god.
And all the
you're
game,
like the god of death.
Yeah, essentially, yes, you are the god of death. The god of death for hell. And here, by having your character reload his gun, breaks the pace of the fast-paced maneuvers.
Yeah.
So they turned Silent Hill into a fucking pachinko machine.
Yeah.
Which is essentially a gambling slot machine in America, but it's popular and just like, come on, really?
Especially how popular PT was.
Yeah.
People were begging for that game to come out.
So, let's start with the soft reboot. Here's what I have to say. No. No. Look, as much as crap I'll give the first game, I did like the atmosphere. The story itself was ridiculous, but interesting. Oh, damn, there's my phone. I'm in such rage, I'm flying my phone everywhere. Yeah, it's just, no. The first 4 games were done well, but you don't need to reboot this.
Yeah, don't touch the original 4. Leave the original 4.
Now, if they're planning to go with a remake in the same vein of Resident Evil 2, that I'm more down for, with more of modern graphics. I'm completely more down for it. Like, okay.
And please get the story right.
Get the story right, please. Because the atmosphere of Silent Hill, the first game, even the first game, it's still pretty good. Even to today's standard, it holds up. Okay, polygons-wise of the characters, no. But atmosphere-wise, yes. So,
except for the voice acting.
Oh, voice. The character sounds completely bored of what he's going through. He's talking about an otherworldly god, and he sounds like he's reading the list off his grocery list. Yeah, get the portal to Hell Dimension. Find my daughter with the key. Defeat the god. Kill the god with a gun, apparently, because her weakness is bullets. Heaven forbid that she gets loose, because she won't get 2 steps forward without getting shot down by the police. He sounded bored. But so all you have to do, really, if they're going to remake it, is update the graphics. Maybe even update the gameplay a bit to, be more modern, I guess, or give us the option of going from modern or traditional.
Make it creepy.
And keep the music. Absolutely keep. Don't touch the music. The music is fantastic in the Silent Hill games.
Yeah, exactly.
The ambience is also fantastic. And really, that's about it. Just update the voice acting and graphics, and there you go. You got yourself a winner. I mean, hell, Resident Evil did that, and it worked out pretty well for it.
They could also work on some of the dialogue.
Oh, some of the dialogue,
Make it a bit better.
Oh yeah.
But overall, if they're gonna, like you said, make a Resident Evil 2 version of.
But if they're going with a soft reboot, they've already kind of did that.
They better not do
Shattered Memories, which was already was kind of a soft reboot.
I know.
Yeah, that's a talk for another day. General gist. If you love the first Silent Hill game, don't play Shattered Memories because it's going to bastardize it a lot.
It's going to shat all over the main character, which utterly, just really, really upsets me.
Yeah, so...
He's a cool character that ends up dying in, number 3, and how they absolutely ruin his character in that.
Alright, we'll talk about Silent Hill when we get its own podcast like Resident Evil did. We're going to eventually get around to doing it.
That's a game I don't like.
Yeah, I know, which we'll say that for. Shattered Memories, if you love the first game, don't play Shattered Memories because all it does is just ruins it. So yeah, I don't want them touching it. And especially with today's political climate, how people are acting.
And the censorship.
Weird
censorship.
Yeah, the nurses, for example, I guarantee you, they will all be censored.
Which is no.
No.
Should be no.
Yeah, I guarantee you there's certain groups on the internet who would attack this game no matter what. So
censorship needs to stop.
So honestly, I'm afraid if they were to do a soft reboot, they'll try to appeal to the American audience. And since those groups of people are the loudest, they're the smallest group, but they make their voice the most loudest,
Because
so
they're
it
like a
convinces
blowfish.
they're like a blowfish, so it convinces the corporations that is their biggest audience that they appeal to. In reality, it's not.
No.
So if they were to do a soft reboot, they would try to appeal to them and ruin the entire story.
I'm just thinking, like, instead of, like, doing something positive, they spend all their time just making multiple accounts to just trash talk about things.
Yeah, and that's
like,
a discussion for another time.
Yeah.
And also my concern is that this is Konami we're talking about, and so for every game they've released, they fill with microtransactions. Doesn't matter what game it is, they will gut it and just fill its insides with microtransactions.
Don't you dare do that to Silent Hill.
The moment they put microtransactions in Silent Hill, they kill all horror intention because you can just buy your way through.
No.
And next thing you know, they're going to be selling answers to puzzles. So they're going to purposely make the puzzles so convoluted, so vague, that you're forced to buy the answer.
Come on, people, use your brains. They don't need to do this.
That's my fear if they're going to reboot it. So I don't want them to do it because the story's fine as it is. It's fine. If they're going to remake it and just simply update the dialogue a bit and graphics and gameplay, fine. Fine. But do not reboot it. It's perfectly fine as the way it is.
I mean, if you want to retell it, okay, but do it justice.
Yeah, and so...
Like...
And also, I just don't know how I feel about the Telltale style adventure game, choose your own adventure game with Silent Hill. Because that doesn't really work for Silent Hill. Okay, let me put it in a better perspective. If you played The Walking Dead, Telltale's Walking Dead, Lee, you play as Lee, or Until Dawn, Heavy Rain, you get the general idea of what type of gameplay we're talking about. Where you walk around, collect items, solve some puzzles, choose dialogue, make choices.
Yeah.
See, to me, that doesn't really work because Silent Hill lives on subtlety. Yes. Everything you do, quietly makes a choice for you. Like, say, take Silent Hill 2, for example. Let's say you barely heal your character. You leave your character close to death most of the time. Unknowingly, you picked that your character does not care about themselves one bit.
And it will lean towards certain bad endings.
Bad endings, yes. So the idea that your choices are very subtle, what makes the game great, because that's how psychological horror works at best. That it's very subtle about it. And here with a Telltale game, if you make choices, it's going to be blatantly obvious what path you're going down. And I don't want that for Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And also, another thing that'd be taken away is the survival horror aspect.
Yes.
Because you can't really fight enemies in this type of gameplay style.
And it would be more action than horror.
It'd be more action and horror filled with quick time events. So if you hate quick time events, you're going to hate that. If you hate Resident Evil 6 or you can't stand any of those story-driven games like Heavy Rain, Until Dawn, or even the Telltale games because they're filled too much with quick time events, then you won't like what they would do with Silent Hill then. And personally, again, like I said, it doesn't fit because those type of games are very linear, so there's not much room for exploration.
Yeah.
I mean, Until Dawn has some exploration, but getting around takes forever because your character just briskly walks everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't want that. That's something that just doesn't fit Silent Hill. It doesn't fit.
Yeah.
So honestly, I just hope that rumor of them doing that is not true. I don't want that for Silent Hill. The rumor that I'm really hoping for is to be true, that's a purely speculation now because Kojima and the original monster designer are teasing people that they're working on a new horror project. You know, Kojima said that he tweeted out actually that his next project will be a horror game. He's been watching Japanese horror movies. And that he's now working with the Silent Hill monster designer. And when you look at the monster designer's Twitter, he posted an image of him saying, hey, hopefully I won't remain silent about this project much longer. The silent isn't bold or anything, but it is in there.
Yeah, the word is in there.
How convenient choice of wording right there. I mean,
yeah, which people are picking up on.
And when his art, he's showing us doing more art, but the pencil that he shows, again, conveniently shows the title of the pencil, which is labeled as Pyramid. Versus a reference back to Pyramid Head in Silent Hill 2. So again, of course, that could be over speculation, conspiracy theories, which again are always fun to talk about. So that's why we're here talking about it. And so I do want this because PET was great for a small horror demo. It was very scary. The atmosphere was great. The ambience was amazing.
Yep.
Lisa, even though Lisa, scary. Here's a fun fact: she actually follows you throughout the entirety of the game. It's very subtle. If you just get in the right lighting, you can see her shadow right above yours. It's so creepy, so subtle, and that's exactly what Silent Hill is. I love that little detail. So they bring back Silent Hills, if they bring back Silent Hills. If not, it's most likely going to be another horror game that's very similar to Silent Hill. Maybe Quiet Mountains, maybe? Quiet Mountains?
Quiet Mountains.
So,
that's the new reboot.
So, what do you think? Do you want to see Silent Hills come back or no?
I would like to see their version of Silent Hill, especially the history of the guy that does the artwork and the history of the guy that makes games and all that and their direction. I would like to see their version of a Silent Hill, but I'm just curious if they're going to be their own individual story. Will it tie into the cult that was mentioned in the first original 4? Or is it going to be like from 5 on up?
Yeah.
It's just its own thing that just uses the world of Silent Hill.
Yeah, and so I want Silent Hills, if they do go Silent Hills, I want it to go its own direction. I don't want to try to recapture the magic of Silent Hill 2 or the previous games. I want it to go in its own direction, like the other Silent Hill games did.
I want them to listen to the formula of the game.
Well, even still
the
then,
creatures being symbolic of the
and
character.
see, that's actually kind of the problem. What was with the Western Silent Hill games, the Western ones, is that they are
symbolic.
They could be symbolic. Downpour, was symbolic with its creatures, but the problem was it didn't do anything really new with that idea. It was very much retreading the same areas of Silent Hill 2 again. And if they were to do Silent Hills, I would want them to take that idea but go in a different direction with it,
I want more Silent Hill world exploring.
Yeah, world exploring.
That was a thing that I liked about Downpour, was that you can crawl up into an apartment.
Save those thoughts for later, because again, that's for Silent Hill podcast. We'll go in greater depth about it.
But yeah, that's a good game to pull from that had some world building. That was a side thing, but it still gave you more history of the town and gave the town more of a life.
Yeah.
And it would be nice if they added more of that.
More of that, definitely.
Reward people that love to just Easter egg hunt and try to figure out every nook and cranny of what's going on.
Yeah. So fun fact actually about the game. What makes it more exciting and at the same time heartbreaking is that they actually got Gino Ito, the author of Uzumaki and other titles, to work on Silent Hills for the monster designs.
Great penmanship.
Yes, and for those who don't know who Gino Ito is, he is a horror author. Essentially, he's like the master of horror, really. Because his line work and everything can make anything look disturbing.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. If you go look it up right now, or if I can, I'll pull up a picture and I'll show you it. Now just take that and apply that to Silent Hill, and you got a horrifying game right there. Immediately. And so
I would like to see a symbolic creature.
Oh my god, that would be so good. And also I Del Toro on the project, which he's well known for Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, Labyrinth. I think it's called Labyrinth. It's like darn it. Whatever it's called, Labyrinth, and he worked on Hellboy, the original Hellboy, not the shitty reboot, the good Hellboy.
Oh, the first 2 original?
Yeah, the first 2 original.
Which I like.
Yeah, which is pretty good. Definitely go check them out. So there's a lot of things that were going great for Silent Hills. It's just Konami was being Konami.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that wraps up our thoughts on everything. Yeah. Until then, we can get more information. Supposedly, we're supposed to hear something soon from Hideo Kojima. Soon about his next project. Yeah. Not sure when. But the moment we hear that, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And give our honest thoughts.
Yes.
I have a feeling that it's not going to be Silent Hill. I have a feeling that it's going to be a new original horror project that's very inspired by Silent Hill.
What was it? Quiet Mountains?
Yeah, Quiet Mountains.
They're working on
Quiet Quarries or whatever. something that they can say, hey, it's not Silent Hill, but it is. Yeah.
Quiet Mountains.
Quiet Mountains. But we'll see. I'm hoping it'll be good, because Death Stranding was a bit mixed receptions. Which that's a podcast for another time as well, because I'm going to wait for that game to drop in price before I pick it up.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's our thought. Infliction, decent game. Check it out if you want.
I mean, it's not god-awful.
It's not god-awful. It's not
It just
bad.
feels like it needs to be polished up, and it feels like it's unfinished somewhat. Like, it feels like what would you say? Like, it's 75% finished, but there's like that 25% that's just like...
Holding it back.
Yeah, that's holding it back.
Yeah, I agree. So, check it out if you want. Not a bad game. Not bad. If you're a love horror, I guess you can check this out. If you just want good more horror references, you want a good couple of scares here and there. But if you're looking for something a bit more, something that's actually scary with more of a fully realized story, then check out, like, say, Outlast, Resident Evil 7, or hell, or the original Silent Hill games, matter of fact. Just go play the original Silent Hill games, 1 through 4. Great games. For Silent Hills, part of me really does hope that Hideo Kojima could work something out with Konami and get that game back.
Yeah.
Because I would love to see, especially with that game's graphic. Oh my god, the game's graphic is so amazing. Holy crap, it looks so realistic. Probably one of the most gorgeous looking games out there.
I was just thinking, can you imagine if they eventually do a VR Silent Hill?
Oh, fans are actually working on that right now. There's actually a Silent Hill VR game, Silent Hill 2 VR game, that fans are making. And yeah, there's teaser trailers of this stuff. We're going to have to check that out, because we do have a VR headset. So we can definitely check that out later.
That's going to be interesting.
So, yeah, for the soft reboot, I don't want it. No, don't remake it, sure, with like the Resident Evil 2 did, but do not reboot it. Don't. No.
Also, too, like, please don't censor.
Don't censor it. Don't listen to those stupid people on those two groups. Not going to say who they are, because I don't want to start any trouble, but they know who they are, and the people, I guess, in the audience know who they are, but I'm not going to say it, because there's two groups in particular. But yes.
Yeah, just don't.
If the Telltale style Silent Hill game, it won't work. It's not the same. It's not a similar style. I'm all for taking Silent Hill in new directions, but this is not it.
Don't lose the horror. Don't lose the J in Silent Hill.
All right. So that wraps up our thoughts. Thanks for joining us for this podcast. We'll see you guys